Hello. I hope I'm audible. We'll just wait for a couple of minutes for someone else to join as well, and then we'll start. So let's just wait for 2, 3 more minutes. Okay. Hi guys. I think we can start now. So, welcome to the Sport Nutrition webinar. I am Rukshara, and we'll be walking through a couple of topics today related to nutrition. But before we start, I want to give you a little bit of introduction about Sporting Ethos. So, we're a center of excellence that is now currently based at the Sport and Squash and Badminton Center at City Fort Auditorium. And we generally have facilities that cater to sport nutrition as well as clinical nutrition. We've got experts on board who cater to sport and injury based rehabilitation. We've got a strength and conditioning department as well. And we also cater to sports psychology as well as sport medicine. So it's basically like a one stop shop for all things related to physical performance, sport performance, rehabilitating from injuries, as well as certain clinical conditions too. And we've been in this business for more than 10 years now. So we're happy to relocate now to a better and bigger location. All right, so let's start. But I want to ask you a couple of questions in the beginning so that I get a sense of, what the audience is like. So I'm sure all of you at some point have checked your body weight and your composition, right? Are you someone who regularly checks their body composition, meaning their body fat, their muscle mass, etc.? You can drop down your answers in the chat box, or if you want to switch on your mic and answer, that's also fine, because I want this to be less like a lecture and more like a conversation wherein you guys can ask your questions as well.
So hi Rukshira, Ayush here.
Hi,
Uh,
Ayush.
how are you?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. Rukshira, so because of Sunday, as you know, most of our kids, are asleep, and I guess they will be joining somewhere in the between as we go on.
Okay.
But yeah, so the common feedback that we get at our academy, I'll share it with you so that we
Mm-hmm.
can go on, continue on those lines.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, what we generally get from parents at our center is that these kids are regularly measuring their weight, I think once in a month, twice in a month, and but there's no action on it as such.
Yeah.
If it's reducing or if it's increasing, uh,
Mm-hmm.
so they don't have any corrective action or any direction to work on.
Right.
Yeah,
Okay.
so this
All right.
is what we generally get.
Yeah.
I think one or two kids have joined also. I would like if they want to share something different, they can also share.
Mhm. Okay,
Yeah.
that's not a problem. What we can do is maybe we'll keep moving forward, and as and when the athletes keep joining, अगर उनको बीच में कुछ question पूछना है, they are a little bit lost on where we are, I would recommend that you encourage them to just switch on the mic and have a conversation about it, okay? So anyway, long story short, the direction I want to give towards your weight question is that it's very important that we now stop looking at weight as the only primal, sort of indicator of fitness, because that's outdated science, right? And there are a lot of things which an athlete should be measuring beyond the body weight. And I think it's very important that parents ko bhi educate kiya jaye about this, because I feel more often than not, it's not the coaches, but rather the parents also who put a lot of pressure on the children to maintain a certain type of body weight and shape. But in actuality, if you look at sports science, we are increasingly finding that body composition जो होता है वो ज़्यादा matter करता है rather than just body weight. And for that, I've incorporated a small poll here. So as you can see on the figure, there are two people who have the same weight and the same height, same BMI, same everything. Yet उनका जो body fat है वो बहुत different है. So weight actually does not tell you this full story. It can be quite misleading at times. So that's why it's very important that any budding athlete should get their body composition checked, because that will tell you a lot more about your muscle mass, your fat mass, bone health, etc. जो कि आपके sport में ज़्यादा matter करेगा. Because the lower the body fat percentage is, that would mean the leaner you are. And the more and more training you can do to help your muscles create that level of fitness, the better you're going to get at your sport. Okay. So I think let's start with some basics. I think this is a very easy topic that most people would already know about. But whenever we talk of nutrition for athletes, and if you're trying to be better at any sport, it's very important to understand कि आप क्या खा रहे हो और आप क्यों खा रहे हो वो, है ना? So in the diet, you have basically two broad types of nutrients. You've got macronutrients and micronutrients. Macronutrients are things, as the word denotes, you need it in higher quantities. So under this you get your protein, fats, carbs. I'm sure ये terms सबने पहले भी सुना हुआ होगा. And protein जो है, it is most important, as you would know, for building and protecting muscles. And this is commonly found in a lot of non-vegetarian foods like meat, chicken, fish, eggs, etc. And some vegetarian and dairy-based foods also. So certain dals like chola, chana, rajma, they tend to be higher on the protein quotient, right? Dahi, paneer, soya bean, soya chunks. These are some foods which are going to be higher on the protein quotient for vegetarians. And इसका primary role है body में to help build and protect muscle mass. Okay, so whenever you're doing lot of training, आप muscles का बहुत ज़्यादा use करते हो and उसका बहुत fast breakdown होता है, जिसके कारण आपको soreness ज़्यादा feel होती है. ऐसे cases में you have to aim to make sure that your protein intake should be really really good. Okay. The second macronutrient is fat. Now, fat जो है, सब लोग जानते हैं that घी, butter, cheese, oils, इन सब चीजों से हमें फैट मिलता है. एंड यूजुअली एथलीट्स फैट को बहुत इग्नोर करते हैं. दे फील लाइक इट इज नॉट वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट फॉर देम बिकॉज दे आर वेरी बिजी फोकसिंग ऑन कार्ब्स एंड प्रोटीन बिकॉज दैट्स व्हाट दे हियर फ्रॉम एवरीवन एल्स. बट फैट एक्चुअली बहुत मैटर करता है बिकॉज वेन एवर यू आर प्लेइंग लॉन्ग गेम्स, आप लंबी ट्रेनिंग कर रहे हो, incorporating fat 2 to 3 hours before your training, ये एक्चुअली आपको लॉन्ग लास्टिंग एनर्जी प्रोवाइड करता है. एंड यहाँ पे जितने भी मेन हैं, मतलब एनीबडी हु इज अ बॉय अ मेल, उनके लिए फैट वैसे भी बहुत मैटर करता है बिकॉज इट हेल्प्स टू प्रोड्यूस टेस्टोस्टेरोन इन द बॉडी. एंड दैट्स अ वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट हार्मोन इफ यू आर ट्राइंग टू बिल्ड मसल मास, फॉर अग्रेशन ऑल्सो. एंड अग्रेशन स्पोर्ट्स में बहुत मैटर करता है बिकॉज इट कैन गिव यू लाइक अ competitive edge on your opponent. Okay, so fat is a very important macronutrient and it can be a very good thing to add अगर आपको ज्यादा कैलोरीज खानी है बट आपकी एपेटाइट बहुत कम है, मीनिंग आपको भूख ज्यादा नहीं लगती है. इन सच अ सिनेरियो अगर आप डाइट में हेल्दी फैट ऐड करोगे तो इट इज गोइंग टू कंट्रीब्यूट टू एक्स्ट्रा कैलोरीज which will ensure that आपका body composition set रहे and you don't end up losing weight very fast whenever the training gets harder. Okay. And the third macronutrient is something called carbohydrates. This is a very common one. Most people love eating carbs because carbs generally आपको आप जो भी 70% डाइट खाते हो उसमें आपको जनरली कार्ब्स मिल जाएगा. दिस इज ऑल योर रोटी, चावल, पोहा, उपमा, ब्रेड, सैंडविचेस, पोटैटोज, all your fruits and vegetables, they are going to be good sources of carbs. Pasta is also a great source of carb, very very good for athletes, especially in dinner. So carbs का जो primary role रहता है, that is to provide the body with a quick source of energy. So unlike fats, carbs body में जल्दी digest होते हैं. So you definitely want to be eating this closer to your training and closer to your physical exercise. अगर आप fats exercise के बहुत पास खाओगे, आपका digestion बहुत slow हो जाएगा, आपको stomach बहुत heavy feel होगा and you will feel like the food is coming in your mouth. आपको अच्छा feel नहीं होगा training करते हुए. I'm sure आप सबका भी ये experience रहा होगा in the past where you've eaten a very, heavy meal and gone for exercise and you don't feel good exercising because the food is just moving around in your stomach and you feel very nauseous and acidic, right? So to avoid that, बहुत important होता है to focus on what you're eating around your training schedule. Okay. Now coming to micronutrients. So unlike macronutrient आपको ज्यादा क्वांटिटी में चाहिए होते हैं बॉडी में, माइक्रोन्यूट्रिएंट्स आपको कम क्वांटिटी में चाहिए होते हैं एंड इसके अंडर यूजुअली विटामिन्स और मिनरल्स आते हैं. आप सबने सुना होगा मल्टीविटामिन टैबलेट्स लोग खाते हैं, एथलीट्स बहुत सारे दे टेंड टू टेक सप्लीमेंट्स फॉर अ लॉट ऑफ विटामिन्स एंड मिनरल्स. वाई? बिकॉज ये बहुत हेल्पफुल रहता है फॉर मसल एंड सेल्यूलर रिकवरी. And don't take it lightly. Just because micronutrient कम quantity में चाहिए doesn't mean it's not important. Vitamins के under you have fat soluble and water soluble vitamins. So this is all your vitamin A, vitamin B, D, C, all these terms that you've heard before. They are extremely important. Some of them you can get from food, some of them you cannot. For example, अगर आप एक अच्छी balanced diet khate ho, which is encompassing of a lot of different types of foods, in such a scenario you will most likely get the common vitamins. But there are certain vitamins जो आपको supplement करने पड़ते हैं. For example, vitamin D आपको food से नहीं मिलता है, and if you stay in Delhi you probably don't get it from sunlight either because of pollution. So that is a very important vitamin to supplement. Okay. Now, if you're a vegetarian, then vitamin B12 is something जो आपको diet से नहीं मिलेगा. You will have to supplement it. And these are all very important things क्योंकि ये बहुत छोटी quantity में चाहिए होते हैं, but they act like, they are a special chemical जो आपके body में reactions करने में help करते हैं. So अगर उस chemical में थोड़ी सी भी कमी होगी, those reactions will not happen properly. And those reactions are the things that are producing energy, that are helping you build muscle, that are keeping you active and fit. So that is why they are super important. On the other hand, you have minerals. Okay, minerals usually आपको again trace amount में चाहिए होते हैं. If you over consume certain minerals, it is going to be a problem. So कुछ minerals आपको ज़्यादा quantity में चाहिए होते हैं, जैसे salt हो गया, which contains sodium chloride. Now all of you know कि जब पसीना आता है तो I'm sure your coach tells you कि electrol पी के आना है या लेके आना है, or you have to carry a sports drink or an electrolyte. Why? Because whenever your body is sweating, you're losing a lot of salts in your sweat. And you have to replenish those salts in the body, otherwise आपकी reactions slow होने लग जाते हैं, आपकी body थकने लग जाती है. So these are minerals that you need in slightly larger quantity. On the other
Sorry, Rukshana, sorry to cut you off. Actually, one thing that I wanted to share that a lot of our coaches share this that when there's a day for hard training, a lot of our kids feel dizzy.
हाँ,
If you can just double click on that, what's the reason for that and what they could do to avoid that,
yeah.
that would be really helpful.
सो डिजीनेस कैन हैपन फॉर लॉट ऑफ रीजंस अगर किसी को ट्रेनिंग करते हुए थोड़ा सा डिजीनेस फील होता है या चक्कर आते हैं द मोस्ट कॉमन रीजन फॉर दैट इज डिहाइड्रेशन डिहाइड्रेशन दो तरह की होती है एक तो पानी की कमी और एक सॉल्ट की कमी हो सकता है आप खूब सारा पानी पी रहे हो बट उसमें जो सॉल्ट प्रेजेंट होना चाहिए जो इलेक्ट्रोलाइट्स प्रेजेंट होने चाहिए वो बहुत कम है या फिर ना के बराबर है सो यू माइट फील लाइक आई एम ड्रिंकिंग सो मच वाटर आई शुड नॉट बी डिहाइड्रेटेड. But actually, dehydration can also happen when you drink too much plain water without enough electrolyte in it. So, first thing you want to do is work on hydration. I will touch upon that. थोड़ा सा आगे जाके मैं explain करूंगी how to do that properly. But एक चीज याद रखना है अगर बॉडी को ऑलरेडी प्यास लग रही है दैट मीन्स इट इज इन अ डिहाइड्रेटेड स्टेट आपको ट्रेनिंग करते हुए प्यास नहीं लगनी चाहिए अगर आपको प्यास लग रही है दैट मीन्स यू आर नॉट ड्रिंकिंग इनफ वाटर सो एक्चुअली हाइड्रेशन हैज टू स्टार्ट इवन बिफोर योर ट्रेनिंग हैज स्टार्टेड तो आप जो भी खाना खाते हो ट्रेनिंग से पहले उसमें भी आपको फ्लूइड्स ऐड करने पड़ेंगे इलेक्ट्रोलाइट के साथ सो दैट जब आप अपनी ट्रेनिंग स्टार्ट करोगे यू विल नॉट गेट डिहाइड्रेटेड द अदर रीजन वाई डिजीनेस कैन हैपन इज इफ देर इज अ सडन ड्रॉप इन ब्लड प्रेशर दिस इज वेरी कॉमन जब भी आप हाई इंटेंसिटी या हाई स्ट्रेंथ फिटनेस वाला काम जब आप ज्यादा करते हो तो समटाइम्स बॉडी का ब्लड प्रेशर एकदम से चेंज होता है फॉर एग्जाम्पल इफ यू आर गोइंग फ्रॉम स्क्वाटिंग एंड स्टैंडिंग अप या आप लंच करके एकदम से खड़े हो रहे हो तो इस मूवमेंट के कारण ना ब्लड प्रेशर ड्रॉप हो जाता है बॉडी में एकदम से एंड उसकी वजह से भी डिजीनेस एक्सपीरियंस कर सकते हैं तो इसलिए यू हैव टू चेक फ्यू थिंग्स इफ यू हैव अ आयरन डेफिशिएंसी जो कि आप ब्लड टेस्ट करा के पता कर सकते हो दैट कैन बी अ कंट्रीब्यूटिंग फैक्टर टू डिजीनेस लॉट ऑफ पीपल जो ढंग से खाना नहीं खाते हैं दे माइट बी डेफिशिएंट इन आयरन so that could cause a little bit of dizziness and changes in blood volume and pressure. The second reason like I said is dehydration. Third reason is अगर आपका फिटनेस अडेप्ट नहीं कर पा रहा है टू द काइंड ऑफ इंटेंसिटी योर ट्रेनिंग एट तो उस वजह से भी डिजीनेस होता है नाउ व्हाट आई मीन बाय फिटनेस इज स्ट्रेंथ इन योर मसल्स मसल एंड्योरेंस बैलेंस पावर दीज टाइप्स ऑफ एस्पेक्ट्स ओके कभी कभी क्या होता है इन ग्रुप ट्रेनिंग्स all the children might not have the same level of fitness. Some might be lacking a little bit in one phenomena, others might be lacking in another department. So if their level of fitness is not matching the intensity at which they are trying to play, then there can be sudden drops in blood pressure. So ऐसे केस में you have to slowly increment the intensity. For this हम एक concept follow करते हैं like here at Sporting Ethos whenever we have athletes who do strength and conditioning with us हम लोग उनसे आरपीई रेटिंग लेते हैं आरपीई रेटिंग स्टैंड्स फॉर रेट ऑफ परसीव्ड एक्सर्शन ये एक 10 पॉइंट स्केल होती है जिसपे एथलीट मेजर कर सकता है कि उनको कोई भी एक्सरसाइज कितनी हार्ड लग रही है 10 on 10 means they are having to put in their maximum effort that is like competition level effort मतलब you can't keep doing that activity for more than a few seconds or minutes otherwise you will crash right and 1 on 10 is like equivalent to sitting down and watching tv it is that light intensity. So if you measure the intensity and the perceived exertion of an athlete, you will come to know कि उनको कोई exercise कितनी hard लग रही है. And based on that, you can adjust their intensity, which will help with their dizziness. जैसे जैसे उनका RPE down होता जाता है, you can keep raising the intensity so that they feel comfortable with the activity. But yes, broadly, these are the 3-4 reasons किसी को dizziness हो सकता है. First and foremost, 70% case में it is because of dehydration from not getting enough water and salt. When I say salt, I don't just mean घर का नमक, I mean all electrolytes. घर के नमक में सिर्फ सोडियम क्लोराइड होता है, तो प्लीज डोंट थिंक कि नींबू पानी इज अ गुड सोर्स ऑफ इलेक्ट्रोलाइट. इट इज नॉट. Please don't think plain coconut water is a good source of electrolyte. It is not. You have to use a sports grade electrolyte drink. Only then you will be hydrating properly. This is obviously not true for winters. Winters में क्योंकि sweating कम होता है तो it is not a major problem for us. But क्योंकि इंडिया में 70% of the time बहुत humidity और गर्मी रहता है so hydration needs to be a major focus. क्योंकि इसकी वजह से आपका रिएक्शन टाइम बहुत अफेक्ट होता है एंड इन 90% स्पोर्ट्स रिएक्शन टाइम इज एवरीथिंग इफ यू कैन नॉट रीच द शटल कॉक ऑन टाइम इफ यू कैन नॉट रीच द बॉल ऑन टाइम then it doesn't matter how good your skills are, right? Because you will never be able to keep up with the game. Okay? Now, coming to something very, very important, everybody knows what is a healthy diet. Everybody knows कि carbohydrate, protein, fats ये सब क्यों खाना है, vitamins क्यों जरूरी है, hydration क्यों जरूरी है. So I don't want to lecture on things that everybody already knows. That is why in today's workshop we are going to specifically talk about कि athletes की diet में क्या-क्या चीजें matter करती हैं सबसे ज्यादा. So उसके लिए मैं चाहती हूँ that आप लोग एक concept समझें जिसको हम कहते हैं nutrient timing and why it matters. Okay, now this is something जो आम आदमी के लिए इतना मैटर नहीं करेगा जितना आप लोगों के लिए इंपॉर्टेंट है, because you guys are playing certain sports and you want to improve your performance in those sports. So what does nutrient timing mean? Okay, nutrient timing refers to the concept of planning your meals around your training time. For example, आप ट्रेनिंग शुरू होने से एक दो घंटा पहले कुछ खा रहे हो तो दैट विल बी योर प्री ट्रेनिंग मील. ट्रेनिंग अगर आपकी एक घंटे से लंबी चल रही है तो यू विल ईट समथिंग इन द मिडल ऑफ योर ट्रेनिंग, दैट इज योर ड्यूरिंग ट्रेनिंग मील. And then you are having something after your training is over as your post training meal. And if you're training 2-3 times a day, then this cycle has to be followed 2-3 times a day. And that is how your eating calendar is going to be decided. Now this usually is important for people जो चाहते हैं कि अपनी recovery को maximize करना चाहें. They want to help themselves gain muscle mass. They also want to ensure that उनके muscles में enough energy store होनी चाहिए in the form of glycogen, because वो दिन में सुबह शाम training करते हैं and शाम को let's say your training is getting over at 6:37. Again in the morning you have to go back to training at 6 o'clock in the morning. So how do you maximize your recovery when you have such little time in between of your training sessions? Okay, so for these people, nutrient timing really, really matters. You will notice that all the great athletes in the world, in across all sports, whether that's badminton, football, basketball, you name any sport, all the famous athletes, they follow this concept of nutrient timing because it helps them to ensure कि जो भी वो ट्रेनिंग कर रहे हैं उनसे उनको मैक्सिमम बेनिफिट गेन हो पाए. Now, nutrient timing is usually divided into three zones. The first zone is your pre-training snack or your pre-training meal. Normally, अगर आप heavy meal खा रहे हो तो इसको आपको कम से कम 2 घंटे या 3 घंटे पहले खाना है. But if you're eating a small snack before training, then you have to eat it 1 hour before your exercise session. Now, the purpose of pre-training meal is to focus on fueling for upcoming session. Obviously, you want कि body में अच्छी energy होनी चाहिए so that you can give your best effort. You also want कि digestion बहुत fast और light रहना चाहिए so that when you're running around, jumping up and down, the food should not cause you any discomfort. You should not feel ulti jaisa, you should not feel acidity. All those feelings should not be there. You also want a quick release of energy. You don't have too much time. अगर session खत्म हो गया उसके बाद खाना energy दे रहा है उसका कोई point नहीं है, right? So you want something that gives you energy very quickly when you're exercising. And you also want to focus a little bit on hydration. So for this, there are certain formulas that we follow in sport nutrition. The main formula is related to your carbohydrate. Okay, carbohydrate is something जैसा मैंने आपको बताया that is going to be the primary source of energy for the body क्योंकि वो fast digestion देता है. So you have to try to eat at least your body weight equivalent carbs in grams. So for example, अगर आपका body weight 50 kg है, you have to try to eat 50 grams of carbohydrate before your training session. If your body weight is 70 kg, you have to try to eat 70 grams of carbohydrate before your training session. Now you must be thinking, how will I come to know how much carbs are there in what food I'm eating? So for that, you can try logging your food. You can do a little bit of Googling that will tell you that one chapati has this much carbs, one banana has this much carbs, and you can do the simple mathematics, okay? But if you're trying to, come up with different ideas, then you have to just kind of experiment a little bit and figure out कि आपके body को क्या suit करता है before exercise. Then along with the carbohydrate, you have to add 5 to 10 grams of protein. Now the goal here is आपको प्रोटीन ज्यादा नहीं खाना है क्योंकि प्रोटीन डाइजेस्ट करने में टाइम लगता है just like fats. So you want to keep your protein on the lower side. Lot of people I see, they eat a protein bar on the way to their practice session. That's a wrong thing to do because that protein bar is going to sit in your body and it's not going to get digested on time to give you energy. So make sure that you're eating less protein. Now, few examples of 5 to 10 grams protein. 2 tablespoon, peanut butter will give you around 5 to 7 grams of protein. One boiled egg is around 6 to 7 grams of protein, right? So those are examples of 5 to 10 grams protein. Along with that, you have to aim to eat less fats. आप बहुत ज़्यादा fatty, heavy meal नहीं खाना चाहते हो, again, because it's going to slow down your digestion. And with that, you're going to try to pair 200 to 300 ml of fluids. Now, fluids could just be a glass of water, it could be a glass of fruit juice, it could be some sort of a smoothie that contains fruits and something for protein and a couple of nuts to give very less fat. So a combination of these four things is going to make the perfect pre-training meal or snack. Now, I've given few examples here. If you want to sort of note them down, you can. Fruit smoothies, like I said, with nuts and seeds are an excellent example of a meal that fits this formula. Cereal and milk, for example, आप muesli, milk और banana काट के डाल रहे हो उसमें, so that takes care of carbs, simple carbs. It gives you a few nuts in the muesli form that add the fats. It also contains a little bit of protein from the nuts and milk. And the milk is also adding some hydration, right? So it's a very balanced pre-training snack. Then peanut butter banana toast, again, a great example of a pre-training snack. Couple of dates mixed with trail mix. Trail mix is basically a mixture of different nuts and seeds that have been roasted along with few dried fruit added in it. Okay. So this is again fitting this formula. Boiled eggs with one fruit. That's a great example. Porridge, जैसे oats का दलिया बना लिया या फिर ragi porridge with nut butter and fruit is also a great pre-training snack. You are never going to feel any discomfort after eating these meals and exercising, provided you give the right gap. अगर ज़्यादा बड़ा meal है तो 2 घंटा gap देना है. अगर छोटा सा snack है तो 1 hour is also enough. Then coming to the second phase. Now let's say you have gone to the training area, you have started warming up and आपने training start कर दिया and you're going to be playing for 2.5 to 3 hours. Always remember, any training session जो 1 घंटे से ज़्यादा last करता है, you have to carry some snacks to eat in the middle of the training as well. क्योंकि जो भी आपके muscle में stored energy है, वो within 1.5 hours कम हो जाएगी. It is going to get depleted. So when it starts getting depleted, that is when your physical performance will start getting affected. You'll start feeling tired. आपको लगेगा stamina की कमी है, but it is actually not the stamina. It is lack of refueling and rehydration. So always, always remember, any training lasting more than 1 hour, please carry some sort of a small snack to eat in the middle of your training or your competition. Now, what are the objectives for the mid-training snack? You want to firstly focus on hydration because obviously you will be sweating when you're exercising. Again, you want quick release of energy. In fact, you want very, very quick release of energy, meaning 15-20 minutes में आपके body को energy मिल जाना चाहिए. Electrolyte replenishment, like I said, sweat में काफी सारा salt loss होता है, so you want to replenish all of that ताकि आपका reaction time, आपकी speed, agility ये सब affect ना हो. And lastly, you want to ensure that there's a steady supply of energy in the blood in the form of glucose. So इसके लिए जो formula हम use करते हैं, that is basically again based on your body weight. So carbohydrate is again going to be the main key ingredient here along with hydration. So carbohydrate, you have to eat 0.7 grams multiplied by your body weight for every hour that you are going to play. So if your body weight is 50 kg, you multiply it by 0.7. Whatever amount you get, that is the number of carbs you have to eat every hour. तो अगर आप 3 घंटा ट्रेनिंग कर रहे हो, you can multiply it by 3. अगर आप 2 घंटा ट्रेनिंग कर रहे हो, you can multiply it by 2. Okay. Now, in your mid-training snack, there has to be no protein, no fats. Please do not consume protein bars in the middle of your workout. Please do not consume protein shakes in the middle of your workout. It is not going to help you with recovery. In fact, it's going to slow down your digestion. It will make you feel bloated and super, super gassy. And nobody likes feeling that way, okay? Now, along with that, you are going to want to focus on fluids and electrolytes, which will be based on your sweat rate. So there is a way you can calculate your sweat rate. Unfortunately, today I don't want to make this workshop super long, so maybe we can discuss this in the future. But definitely, everybody's way of sweating is different. You will notice this. कुछ लोगों को ज़्यादा पसीना आता है, कुछ लोगों को कम पसीना आता है. Some people don't sweat a lot, but they turn red and hot, right? And other people don't turn red, but they sweat buckets and buckets in summers and rainy season. So everybody's body is very different. So please don't think there is some blanket rule that you have to only drink 1 liter of water or 3 liters of water during training. It is very different for everyone. A simple way you can check this is check your body weight before and after training. अगर आपका body weight कम हो जाता है training करते हुए, that means you have not hydrated and refueled properly. If you're hydrating well, your body weight should not change a lot, not by more than 1 or 200 grams. Okay. Now, a few examples of mid-training snacks will be, of course, your sports-grade electrolyte drinks. Isotonic sports drink are an excellent example of fluid, electrolyte, and carbs, क्योंकि इसमें तीनों चीजें डली हुई होती हैं. Please be very careful if you're drinking things like Gatorade. Nowadays, they come with artificial sweeteners, so they don't give you real carbs. You have to pair it with something to eat on the side, so that आपको carbohydrate भी मिले, electrolyte भी मिले और fluids भी मिले. Okay. Energy gels are a great source of carbs and electrolyte again, and you have to pair this with something to drink on the side. Some energy gels also come with added caffeine. Caffeine is also a great ingredient to add in the middle of your workout because it's going to give you a boost in stamina. It's going to make you feel like you have a lot of alertness and mental energy. But please be very careful. Caffeine सबको सूट नहीं होता है. And if you're very, very young, you definitely don't want to get used to this. So you have to speak to a professional before trying these things out. Fruit jellies with electrolytes are also a great option to add. And of course, fruit juices with electrolyte salts added in them is a great example. Now, one thing I want to mention here, fruit juices सारे बराबर नहीं होते. You want to drink something which is less acidic. So something like watermelon juice is not an acidic juice. It's very like calming on the stomach. You don't feel very, weird after drinking it. Whereas if you're consuming something very, very citrusy, something like maybe grape juice or pineapple juice, that can cause acidity for you because it's a slightly acidic fruit. So things like mango juice, guava juice, your watermelon juice, lychee juice, apple juice, these are some great examples of juices which are low on the acidity level and they're much more gentler on the stomach. Okay. Now, the third phase of nutrient timing is what are you going to have post training? So, post training, the major objective is you want to focus on recovery. You want to eat a combination of fast and slow digesting carbs. So, fast digesting would be basically foods जिनमें fiber कम होता है. So, this is like your white bread, sugar, honey, fresh fruit like mango, banana, chiku, all of these fruits which the body can digest very fast. And slow digesting carbs are basically carbs जिनमें खूब सारा fiber रहता है. So this is all your roti, rice, pasta, whole grains like oats. They take a little bit of time to digest. वो immediately आपको energy नहीं देते हैं. So you want to eat a combination of both of these things. Hydration will be again very important because in case you have sweat a lot during the session, you want to make sure that after the session आपकी body में enough water balance रहे. Muscle repair is obviously a huge goal because training खत्म होने के बाद आप चाहते हो that soreness नहीं होना चाहिए, recovery अच्छा हो जाना चाहिए so that you're ready for your next session in a couple of hours. And lastly, very important, glycogen replenishment. What does glycogen mean? Glycogen is basically जो भी आप खाना खाते हो, it is stored in the form of starches in your muscles. And whenever you exercise, मसल को एनर्जी कहाँ से मिलता है वो इस ग्लाइकोजन को बर्न करता है विच इज द स्टोर्ड एनर्जी इन द मसल सो यू वांट टू मेक श्योर दैट एक्सरसाइज होने के बाद आपके स्टोर्स कम हो जाएंगे एनर्जी के सो यू वांट टू रिप्लेनिश दो स्टोर्स बैक सो दैट व्हेन यू गो फॉर योर सेकंड सेशन यू हैव लॉट ऑफ एनर्जी नाउ द फॉर्मूला दैट वी आर गोइंग टू यूज फॉर दिस is going to be carbohydrates, protein and fat dominant. Meaning अब आप तीनों चीजें खा सकते हो. Before workout आप सिर्फ carbohydrate पे ज्यादा focus कर रहे थे, less protein and less fats and little bit of fluid. In the middle of your workout, what were you doing? You were having little bit of carbs, no proteins, no fats and lots of fluid. Now after your workout is over, you're going to try to eat the same amount of carbs, but now your proteins and fats are going to increase. And then of course you want to add a little bit of fluid as well agar thoda sa dehydration hai to recuperate those. सो अगेन द कार्बोहाइड्रेट इज गोइंग टू बी द सेम कैलकुलेशन, जो आपका बॉडी वेट है आपको उतना ग्राम्स कार्बोहाइड्रेट खाना है. फॉर एग्जाम्पल 50 kg वेट है तो 50 ग्राम्स कार्ब्स, 70 kg वेट है तो 70 ग्राम्स कार्ब्स. प्रोटीन जो है वो आप अपने बॉडी वेट का हाफ खाओगे. सो इफ यू आर, लेट्स से योर बॉडी वेट इज 60 kg, देन यू हैव टू ईट 30 grams ऑफ कार्ब्स. इफ योर बॉडी वेट इज 70 kg, you have to eat 35 grams of protein, sorry, after your workout. And fats will be as per your requirement. Usually 5 to 10 grams is good enough. And you want to replenish whatever weight जो आपका कम हो गया है because of training, उसको cover up करने के लिए you can drink water. Now, few examples of post-training meals will be rice plus lean protein. Lean protein means chicken, egg, fish, these types of meats, and lots of vegetables. You can also have boiled sweet potato with eggs. You can have cottage cheese. Cottage cheese is paneer on toast with vegetables. You can have whole wheat या फिर high protein pasta जो chickpeas या दाल से बना हुआ हो. आजकल बहुत वैरायटी आती है इसमें भी. You can have a healthy pasta with chicken and vegetables. You can also have grilled fish with rice and vegetables. You can also have a protein bar with a veg club sandwich. So these meals are a combination of proteins, fats, fast digesting, as well as slow digesting carbohydrates. And along with this, you can add any drink of your choice. You can have nimbu pani, coconut water, fruit juice. You can add everything in a blender and make a smoothie out of it with fruits, oats, nut butter, and that will be a good example of your post-training snack or meal. Okay. Any questions so far? किसी को कोई doubt है तो you can switch on your mic and ask questions. Okay.
Hello, ma'am.
Yeah.
I'm a mother of Yuvan Bhatia.
Hi.
So
Hi.
hi, ma'am. Just wanted to know, like you said that post training they can have fruits or something like that. Okay, but normally in the evening we avoid fruits because the sugar in fruits or something like that. Like everybody say that it is difficult to digest it in the late evening. Like suppose the kids are coming at 5:30 or 6 o'clock. So normally we don't give the fruits at that time. So that is my question. Like, is this okay that we give the fruit, like maybe banana or whatever, like while coming back or like when they reach home? So is that fine that we can give the fruits at that time, or like we should not?
That's a great question, ma'am. Thank you for asking that question. So, firstly, I think it's very important to understand that sport nutrition is very different from regular nutrition because most of us, people like you and me, we are not that physically active, and neither are we in a growing stage like children who are, playing like 3-4 hours a day, and also their body is kind of constantly expanding and growing and developing from inside as well. So, I think the first and foremost thing you want to understand is that traditional rules of ayurveda basic nutrition that we apply to most of us adults is not going to be applicable to children who are very physically active. When I say very physically active, I mean those who are prepping and priming for competitions and they're aiming at high performance. So yes, definitely you can give them fruits at that time. I would not recommend giving extremely high fiber fruits, especially if it is somebody who struggles with digestion in the first place. See, it's very important to know that nutrition is very bio individual. There is no one rule that fits all. You will never hear me saying that everybody should be eating a particular way, or they should be avoiding a certain food, everybody should be eating a certain food, because it's very very bio individual. Some people have excellent digestion and they can even have fruit as a bedtime snack and go to sleep and not have any ill adverse effects of that. Whereas some children could be sensitive with their digestion, they struggle with things like bloating, acidity, constipation, regular bowel movements. In such a scenario, you really have to study the case and then take a call. If you feel the child complains of stomach aches, feeling too gassy, feeling bloated, you definitely want to give them fruits that are lower on fiber. So things like mangoes, bananas, watermelon, papaya, these are, low fiber fruits. So you can incorporate them a little bit later in the day as well. It's not going to be a problem. But if you feel they have no trouble digesting, and I'm guessing if they're very physically active, their digestion will be good. So in such a scenario, there's no problem. You can give them food even at fruit even at 6 or 7 p.m. Okay, so these are it's very confusing because people hear a lot of different advice on the internet now when it comes to nutrition. You just have to remember to follow a few very fundamental basics. As long as the diet is balanced, you're giving them, whole foods which are very, very nourishing and balanced, there is going to be no problem. So let's first focus
Okay.
on creating a basic schedule that the child should be getting enough carbs, they should be getting enough calories, and getting it at the right time of the day. Then you can get into the nitty gritties of कितने बजे क्या खिलाना है, ये फ्रूट इसके साथ पेयर कर सकते हैं कि नहीं,
I
because
have
that's
one.
going to be, yeah.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. Thanks a lot, ma'am.
All right.
Yeah,
Okay.
Rukshara, one
Mhm.
question I have is that there's a saying that after the workout you should consume your post training meal in say 1 hour, or
Yeah.
is it true, or is it like, are we comfortable having it in 2-3 hours as well?
Yeah, that's a great question again. So, this is actually very old, outdated science. Earlier, there was a concept of something called an anabolic window. So, in your body, there are two phrases that we often use for exercising people. One is something called anabolic, which means building, the building phase of body, meaning कुछ breakdown हो गया है, उसको आप वापस से rejoin करके recover कर रहे हो, and you're building it back up. That's called anabolic. And then there's something called catabolic. Catabolic refers to the process of breaking down. So earlier, what Ayush is saying is that there was a saying in the fitness industry and in the sports industry that if you don't have a snack or meal within, let's say, 1 or 2 hours of finishing your workout, आपका muscle growth नहीं होगा या आपकी muscles recover या repair नहीं हो पाएंगी. But that's actually outdated science. There is no concept of anabolic window now, which is found to be true in the human body. Instead, what has to be focused on is regular replenishment of nutrients throughout the day, meaning जो भी आपके 12 hours हैं when you're awake, you want to ensure that there's a steady supply of energy, throughout the day. So that is why fasting is something I don't recommend for athletes, because it disrupts your eating pattern and it gives you a very short window to refuel the body. So definitely fasting is something जो very, very physically active people, especially those who are aiming at sports performance, not for fitness reasons, but just for performance reasons, you should avoid doing that. And you can eat something within 1 to 2 hours of finishing your workout, because most likely you will be feeling very hungry at that time. So I think it's a good idea to add a small snack or a meal, but it's not a compulsion. Even if you have a large source of protein 3 hours after your workout, you will still recover from it. Okay. Now, coming to what exactly, to serve on your plate, what should an athlete be eating? What should your food plate be looking like? So, I've incorporated 2, 3 slides here that I really want to show to all the parents out there of young children, especially. Now, first concept I want you to understand is the food plate will look different every day, meaning it totally depends on the training intensity for that particular day. If you're doing easy training, or let's say it's a senior athlete who's trying to do a mini weight cut before their competition, or they're in their off season and they want to cut down their body fat, they want to put on a little bit of muscle mass, this is what their food plate should look like. So I want you to imagine your plate as like a pie chart in this circle. Almost 1/4 of your plate will be filled with whole grains. Now, whole grains will be your pasta, rice, potatoes, cereals, breads, whatever it is that you eat at home. This will cover around 1/4 of your portion. Now, if you're trying to do a little bit of weight management, you can cut like a small, teeny tiny portion of it a little bit if you're trying to manage your weight. The remaining 1/4 portion of your plate will be some sort of a protein source. Now, this can be vegetarian protein or non vegetarian protein. If you're opting for non vegetarian protein, try to keep it as lean as possible. So, a lot of eggs, meat, fish, chicken, that type of stuff. And if you're a vegetarian, then you want to incorporate lower fat, high quality protein. So, this will include your chola, chana, rajma, soybean, lobia, soya chunks, low fat paneer, tofu, tempeh, edamame. These are some great examples of vegetarian high quality protein. So this will cover around 1/4 portion of your plate. And then the remaining half portion of your plate needs to be filled with fruits and vegetables. This is extremely important because in most cases, I see athletes filling up their plate with just whole grains, and protein and vegetable are in small, small bowls. That's not the way to eat. Now, to make it simple, a small exercise I would recommend is take a normal dinner plate, उसमें आप 4 bowls रखिए. Put 4 bowls. in one bowl you put your carbs, in one bowl you put your protein, and in two bowls you put your fruits and vegetables. That is going to teach you the right portion management for an easy training day. Now, easy training day would be some day where you've either not done any exercise or it's been an active recovery day. आपने थोड़ा सा fitness पे काम किया है या हल्का सा, you've just played some sport for fun for half an hour, 45 minutes, or you've gone for a light swim or something like that. So that's going to count as an easy training day, meaning a day where your exercise intensity is less than 4 on 10. Okay. You can, of course, add a little bit of healthy fats in the form of avocados, butters, oils, nuts, seeds, cheese, etc. Make sure you're adding something on the side for hydration. You don't need to have this with your meal. You can have it before or after your meal also. So this can be some sort of milk drink, charge, some sort of a smoothie, etc. Now, coming to moderate training day. Now, this is a day where your training intensity is, let's say, between 5 to 6. Like it's somewhere in the middle on 10. So on this day, of course, your calorie output has been higher. आपने effort भी exercise में ज़्यादा लगाया है. So your food plate is going to change accordingly for recovery. Now, protein will always remain the same. Please remember, protein does not change. Whether your training is hard, light, easy, moderate, protein will always be the same because this is something that is based on your body weight. But carbs are going to change depending on exercise intensity. So on the easy training day, you were only having 1/4 plate of carbs. On moderate training day, you're going to have 1/3 plate of carbs. So this again includes the same foods, your roti, chawal, potatoes, pasta, noodles, poha, upma, chila, all that kind of stuff. And then vegetables and fruits are going to reduce to 1/3 portion of the plate. Okay. So only these two sections have changed. Protein remains the same. Rest of everything is going to remain the same. Now coming to a hard training day. Now this is going to be like exercise intensity 7, 8, 9 or 10 out of 10. This is a hard training day. Most likely I'm hoping if the workload is good, an athlete should not have more than 2 to 3 hard training days in a total week. Now, on this particular day, the carbs are going to take majority portion on the plate. Almost half of your plate will be filled with the carbohydrates. And only 1/4 plate will be filled with vegetables. Protein, again, remains the same. So this is how you want to keep cycling your macronutrients and your calories depending on the type of training day you are having. I also like to use this concept for calorie cycling, meaning there are some days जहाँ पे आप week में 2 बार training करते हो. There are your double training days. There are certain days in the week where the athlete is only training once a day. So that's a single training day. And then there are rest days as well. So for these kinds of days also, you can use this concept where rest day is like a easy or weight management kind of day. Moderate training would be like a single training day, and double training would count as a hard training day. And accordingly, you need to adjust the portions of foods. This is very important for recovery. This is very important for ensuring that you don't end up eating extremely high amount of calories or extremely low amount of calories, because both of these things are not going to be good for you. They're going to affect your fitness. They're going to affect your body composition, and most importantly, your digestion and energy levels. Okay. So just keeping these 2-3 pictures in mind and juggling the way your child serves food on a plate, or you yourself take food on a plate, it's going to make a huge difference in your energy during practice and competitions. Okay. Any questions in this section? Anybody wants to ask anything? Okay, I think it's all clear. So let's move forward. Now, the third concept I want to discuss when it comes to nutrition, specifically sport nutrition, is that your workload really matters.
Hello.
Yeah.
Hello. Good afternoon, ma'am.
Hi. How are you?
Firstly, I would like to thank for this great session.
You're welcome. Thank you so much.
My question is how to maintain healthy eating habits during travel. Because हम जब ट्रैवल करते हैं तो हमें कोई भी चीज मिलती है बहुत ज्यादा अनहेल्दी हो जाता है, तो वहां पे मतलब हाउ टू मेंटेन.
Yeah, that's a great. You're Arushi, right?
Yes.
Okay, Arushi, that's a fantastic question. I'll be covering that after this section. So if you don't mind, I would like to wait till we reach that section. Then I will
Yeah.
answer your question. Is that okay?
Okay. Sure. Thank you.
Okay. So coming back to workload. Workload का क्या मतलब होता है? Especially for the parents who are here, it is very important to understand what does the term workload of an athlete mean. Workload means how many hours you're spending doing a particular sport or any sort of accessory training that you're doing for that sport. So this includes your fitness sessions, it includes your gym sessions, it includes SNC, it includes your stretching and mobility. It also includes all the training that you're doing for that sport. Just say if you play badminton, then how many hours are you spending on the badminton court? Collectively, जितने भी घंटे आप किसी sport को better करने में dedicate करते हो, that counts as your weekly workload. So usually workload is calculated for 1 week, and that gives us an idea about how many hours are being spent doing a particular type of physical activity. Now, why I want to touch upon workload is workload and nutrition are not mutually exclusive. They go hand in hand. Meaning, अगर आपका workload बहुत high है और आपको रिकवरी में प्रॉब्लम आ रही है, आपको लगता है आप में स्टैमिना नहीं है, you are not able to keep up with your sessions, and you feel that nutrition alone will be able to manage that, that's actually not true. There has to be a good balance between workload, recovery monitoring, as well as nutrition. What does that mean? If your child is under the age of 14, you don't want their workload exceeding 14 hours. But if your child is older than 14 years of age, then their workload can slowly start increasing a little bit. Please remember, if you're training like more than 20 hours a week and you're struggling with recovery, maybe you also need to look a little bit into your workload and decrease that while you simultaneously try to make your nutrition better. क्योंकि अगर वर्कलोड यहाँ है और न्यूट्रिशन यहाँ है, आप न्यूट्रिशन को यहाँ भी ले आओगे फिर भी गैप रहेगा, बिकॉज अ डाइट अलोन कैन नॉट कीप अप विद अ वेरी हैवी वर्कलोड. सो यू हैव टू बी वेरी रियलिस्टिक when it comes to your recovery expectations. Now, workload is also very important when it comes to overuse injuries. And this is very, very common, especially if you play any type of racket sport or a high intensity sport. Now, I've included a photo here. This is very important to understand. Usually, this is how the cycle goes. कोई athlete होगा जिसको कोई predisposition है, meaning या तो उनके पहले कोई injury हो रखा है, या फिर उनकी fitness level उनके ट्रेनिंग को मैच नहीं कर पा रहा है, या फिर उनके बॉडी में कोई न्यूट्रिएंट का डेफिशिएंसी है, जैसे विटामिन डी का कमी है, B12 का कमी है, या फिर उनका स्लीप स्केड्यूल अच्छा नहीं है, राइट? सो दिस इज अ प्री डिस्पोज्ड एथलीट. उनके एनवायरमेंट में या उनकी बॉडी में ऐसे काफी सारे फैक्टर्स हैं जो उनको एट रिस्क ऑफ इंजरी पुट कर रहे हैं अभी. नाउ व्हेन दिस एथलीट गेट्स एक्सपोज टू हायर रिस्क फैक्टर्स, जैसे वर्कलोड बहुत हैवी है, आपका स्लीप स्केड्यूल अच्छा नहीं है, डाइट अच्छा नहीं है, स्ट्रेस मैनेजमेंट अच्छा नहीं है, एंड ऑन टॉप ऑफ दैट यू आर ट्रेनिंग फॉर लाइक 25 hours a week, you are actually making yourself more susceptible to injuries. Now, let's say you keep repeating this every day, day in and day out, and you're trying to prepare for some state level competition, district level, national level tournament, and then you go for that event, and suddenly while doing that event you end up getting aches and pains. In most cases आपको शायद इवेंट करने से पहले भी टाइटनेस और थोड़ा बहुत निगल्स, पेन्स डेवलप होने लग जाएंगे, एंड देन यू वंडर कि इंजरी एकदम से क्यों हो रहा है, एंड व्हाई डू आई ऑलवेज गेट इंजर्ड अराउंड कंपटीशन, व्हाई डू आई ऑलवेज फॉल सिक around competition, because immunity is also related to your workload. There is lot of science that says immunity and workload are इनवर्सली प्रोपोर्शनल. जैसे जैसे वर्कलोड बढ़ेगा इम्यूनिटी डाउन हो जाता है. सो व्हेन यू आर डूइंग वेरी हैवी वर्कलोड यू आर एक्चुअली वेरी प्रोन टू कैचिंग कॉफ, कोल्ड, फीवर, वायरल, इन सब टाइप के इन्फेक्शन ज्यादा होते हैं. सो ऑलवेज रिमेंबर, इफ यू फाइंड योर सेल्फ गेटिंग सिक वेरी ऑफन, स्पेशली अराउंड कॉम्पिटिशंस, if you feel you end up having small tightness, soreness, niggle type injuries around competition and heavy workload, you need to look into your workload, because this might be causing a lot of problems for you. Okay, so this picture also I have picked up from a research study that was done to assess how do overuse injuries develop in athletes over a period of time. This is not something that you develop in 1 or 2 days. It happens over months and years. So that is why your workload is super important. So please remember, if there's any one takeaway I want you to take from this workshop, it's that nutrition single-handedly cannot help you cope with a very high workload. Now, like I mentioned, workload के साथ साथ sleep plays a very big role in your nutrition and recovery also. Why? Because human beings are very circadian creatures. एक concept है, जैसे आपने अपने grandparents and parents को भी बोलते हुए सुना होगा, that they tell you to wake up with sunrise, go to bed with sunset, eat your meals along with sunrise and sunset. Why? Because जो nature का natural rhythm है, वही हमारे sleep and wake up patterns को affect करता है. Your eyes are like cameras, okay? And whatever light they see during the day, they capture it and send a signal to your brain. And then the brain perceives that, okay, अभी बाहर बहुत उजाला हो रहा है, it's really bright outside. That means it's time to, kick on certain hormones and make yourself feel very energetic, agile, motivated, awake, basically. And as the day goes down and the light perception of your eyes, it goes down, your brain gets the signal that, okay, it's slowly starting to get dark, so maybe it's time to unwind and start feeling tired and go to bed. So there's a reason why most of us feel sleepy at the same time of the day, we feel awake at the same time of the day. Some of you who are older, you might have also noticed that without an alarm clock also, you can wake up at the same time every day. Why does that happen? Because of your internal circadian rhythm. Circadian rhythm means it's a biological clock, जो कि nature के sunrise and sunset पे depend करता है. So here I've incorporated a photo. I want you to look at this very carefully, okay? This is showing 24 hours in a day. As you can see, certain times of the day affect certain physiological phenomena in the body. For example, 7 बजे usually अगर आप time से bed चले जाते हो, if you're sleeping on time, 7 o'clock in the evening, your body temperature and blood pressure are going to start peaking. Then your neutrophil levels are going to peak around 8 p.m. 9 o'clock आपकी बॉडी मेलेटोनिन सेक्रीट करने लगेगी ताकि आपको 10 साढ़े 10 बजे तक फीलिंग आ जाए कि अब सोने का टाइम हो गया, आई एम स्टार्टिंग टू फील ड्राउजी, राइट? इन द मिडल ऑफ द नाइट अराउंड 1 or 2 a.m. are going to be your deepest sleep cycles. Okay, and this is going to again affect certain hormones. जो growing kids हैं उनमें growth hormone भी sleep पे depend करता है. So if the children are not going to bed at the right time, which should be by 10 o'clock or before 10 o'clock, then it is going to affect all of these hormones that have to secrete based on your sleeping time. अगर आप 2 घंटा लेट सो रहे हो तो वो हार्मोन उस टाइम पे secrete नहीं हो पाएगा. And then the parents are going to wonder, why is my child not gaining height? Why is my child not, growing as tall as some of his peers? Why is the recovery not good? He's eating well also, he's training also. So sleep is like that missing link which not enough people understand कि इसका importance कितना severe है. Okay, now simultaneously जैसे जैसे sunrise होता है, with light in your eyes, there are certain hormones like cortisol which are going to start getting secreted. This spike in cortisol is what causes you to wake up in the morning. That feeling of your eyes opening, that's because your body temperature is rising and your cortisol levels are also rising with that. So that motivates you to get out of bed. Now, again, if your sleep routine is very, very disturbed, it's very wrecked, this cycle is going to get disturbed. So when the time of the day when cortisol should start peaking, it will not. It will probably get released in small quantities, or it will get released 2 hours later. And that is why the children struggle to get out of bed, or you feel like, you're not able to wake up with the same kind of energy that you expect yourself to be getting up with. So this is how your sleep cycle truly determines your recovery, your growth and development, your muscle mass, and your energy levels, all of which are going to impact your performance, whether that is, 2 months down the line, or whether that is 10 years down the line when you're playing senior nationals and international tournaments. Okay. Now, in your sleep also, there are 4 stages that the body goes through while you're sleeping. For athletes, you must have heard of the term deep sleep. It's a very common buzzword these days as well. A lot of people are tracking their sleep using Oura rings and, ultra human rings and things like that to track sleep. You also get a lot of, phone apps that tell you how much you have slept, and your Apple Watch will tell you about your sleep. So why is there so much emphasis on understanding sleep stages? That's because each cycle of sleep that your body goes through is a different role रहता है. First is your REM sleep. This is your rapid eye movement sleep. This is usually the stage when your body is just, that feeling of just getting into that sleep. When you feel like partly awake, but you're also partly sleeping. This is called your REM sleep. So during this stage, your breathing becomes more rapid and irregular. And then your body starts going into the NREM stages, which are your non-rapid eye movement stages. ये usually 3 stages होती हैं. You have stage 1, stage 2, and stage 3. Stage 1 is like light sleep, just that feeling of transitioning into falling asleep. Stage 2 में आपके brain waves slow down होने लगते हैं. So this is usually the stage where, certain things are going to happen in your body hormonally as well as cellular level पे काफी changes होते हैं, repair and rejuvenation and things like that. And then the most important stage is your stage 3, which is also called deep sleep. This stage is very important for most athletes, it is recommended that deep sleep should account for at least 50% of their sleep time. So if you're sleeping for 8 hours, you should be expecting to get minimum 4 hours of deep sleep. And let me tell you, if any of y'all have tracked your sleep, that is very difficult to do unless you have a very strict sleep routine where you're going to bed at the same time, waking up at the same time, having a wind down routine 30 to 60 minutes before falling asleep. So deep sleep का क्या importance रहता है? This is the stage when your body is going to do all of its muscle repair work, your immune system is going to get stronger. जो भी आपने memories consolidation चलता है इस time पे, meaning जो भी आपने view किया है पूरे दिन में, your brain is going to file all of that in its filing cabinets, right? So this is a very important stage if you're aiming for better athletic performance, okay? Now, couple of tips that I have for sleep. Okay, this is like my athlete's checklist for sleep. First and foremost, you want to aim for a quiet environment. Okay. Secondly, room temperature really matters. You must have noticed कि सर्दियों में बहुत अच्छी नींद आती है, whereas in summers you tend to have lighter sleep. Why is that? Because in winters, naturally the room temperature is usually on the lower side. And the lower the room temperature, the better and deeper your sleep is going to be. So ideally, scientifically, the best temperature to get good sleep is around 18 degrees Celsius. So in summers, if you're using an air conditioner, you can set it to a cooler setting. Third, ensure that the bedding and clothing does not cause an environment that is too hot. Because like I said, जैसे जैसे body temperature rise होता है, you can actually break out of your sleep as well. That is why in summers it is so easy to wake up in the middle of the night. But in winters you feel very, very lazy. You don't want to get out of bed. That's because of the drop in temperature. So अगर आप बहुत ज़्यादा thick blanket use कर रहे हो or you're sleeping with too many clothes on, you're going to start feeling too hot and that will cause poor sleep. Fourth, sleep routine. It is not just the hours that matter, it is also the timing when you go to bed and wake up. Okay? So a lot of parents and athletes will be like, okay, he's sleeping like 8 hours. Why is his routine not like, why is he not feeling recovered? Why is his energy always low? It is not just the hours. Are you going to bed at the same time and waking up at the same time? 5 to 7 times in a week, that's what truly matters. So aim for consistency there. Fifth one is for all the teenage and senior athletes, definitely avoid caffeine and food or fluid ingestion leading up to sleep. Okay. Also prevent napping after 4 o'clock in the afternoon because then it will start affecting your nighttime sleep. A simple rule that I like to use is what I call the 3-2-1 rule. Nothing to eat 3 hours before bed, nothing to drink 2 hours before bed, and nothing to watch 1 hour before bed. Because if you're watching your phone, you're watching TV, you're watching a movie, that is going to be artificial light, which is going inside your eyes. And what did I tell you about light going in your eyes? If your brain perceives कि बहुत ज़्यादा brightness है, it is going to start secreting hormones to make you feel alert and awake. And then it's going to be even more difficult for you to fall back asleep. That is why we say that you should switch off your devices at least 30 minutes before you want to sleep so that your brain can get the sense of, okay, it's time to unwind and go to bed. So that's what the sixth point talks about. Avoid use of light-based devices. Napping not later than mid-afternoon. So 3 to 4 p.m. should be your last napping time. Avoid naps after that. Try to get at least 7 hours. If you are aiming to play a competition, you might even need 9 to 10 hours of sleep too. And if you're a growing child, you're like under the age of 15, 16, then your requirement for sleep is also higher. And there's nothing wrong with sleeping more. In fact, athletes should be encouraged to sleep more because, like I said, the more sleep they get, the more their body is going to grow and develop during that time. Ensure that the room is dark with no light source present. Okay. This is again for the same reason that I mentioned. If there's too much brightness around you, your brain is not going to feel sleepy. So as soon as the sun sets, you should switch off your ceiling bright lights and switch to, bedside lamps, ambient yellow lighting, which is low intensity. Okay. So just if you follow these few tips, you're going to get the best night of your sleep. And I think some of the parents can also try this for themselves personally. Okay. Now, coming to the last section that I want to talk about, this I like to call your tips for travel and competition. Okay. Now, I think Arushi here had asked about how to manage eating when you're on the go. That's a very, very big challenge, especially in India, because a lot of competitions are, announced at the last minute. Many times you don't know what is going to be the logistical arrangement. So the underlying tip I want to give you here is be as much prepared as possible on a personal level. Meaning, don't rely on the organizers to provide you with food. Don't rely on the organizers to provide you with, supplements and electrolytes and snacks while you're playing and refreshment on the court and things like that. You want to make sure that you're as well prepared on your personal front. So, first and foremost, always make a checklist of everything you should be carrying. So in that, you can make a wet list and a dry list. Dry list will be things which have a long shelf life that you can carry with you. So these are things like nuts and seeds, trail mix, granola, peanut butter, honey, certain dried fruits like dates, dried apricots, dried figs. जो भी चीजें आप अपने ट्रेनिंग सेशन से अपने न्यूट्रिएंट टाइमिंग में यूज करते हो, मीनिंग प्री मिड एंड पोस्ट ट्रेनिंग, try to carry them as much as possible. Then in your wet list, you're going to write down things that you can buy once you reach the venue. So these are going to be fresh fruits, milk, Greek yogurt, eggs, bread, things which have a low shelf life, but you still need to eat before practice or before competition, during competition, and after competition. So first thing is pre-planning your travel as much as possible. Now, another very important thing is make a list of the supplements that you have to eat or take on a daily basis and make sure you carry them with you. The idea of competition is you have to simulate जो भी चीजें आप ट्रेनिंग में करते हो आपको वही सेम चीज कॉपी पेस्ट करके competition में करना है. A lot of parents and athletes come up to me and they're like, ma'am, I have a competition coming. What should I eat? What should I carry? This is not the time for experimentation. There's no special diet for competition. Everything that you have been practicing nutrition wise during training days, you have to copy paste for competition. That is the whole concept of sport nutrition. कि आपको जैसे आप अपने muscles को training देते हो to play a sport, you also have to give training to your gut to handle certain food. So once your gut is used to, let's say practicing after eating Greek yogurt with granola and fruit, then during competition also your snack should be Greek yogurt with granola and some fruit. Don't try to change that during your competition. Otherwise, you're going to risk upsetting your gut and it's going to cause other problems. Now, if you're going to an international destination or some other city, then you want to research your food options as much as possible. If you'll be staying in a mess, then you can always, call them up or ask them to share the mess menu with you so that you know what meals to plan. If you're going to be staying in a hotel, you can look up their menu online. Most hotels have their menu on Zomato or, you can just Google it. So see what kind of food are they offering? Are they open to customizations? Do you have to eat in a buffet? Can you eat a la carte meals, right? So researching your food options is really important because it's going to reduce that stress of how am I going to manage my food? Because you will already know that, okay, these are the options on the menu. This is what I can have before my competition. This I can ask them to pack for me for lunch in case I get late playing the match. And this is something I can eat once I'm back from the venue, right? Now, another very important thing, always carry filler snacks. So filler snacks, I like to call things like protein bars, good quality energy bars, things like banana chips, good chana, right? Things which you can pack dry for long periods of time and they will not go bad. Please refrain from eating junk food on the flights, in the trains, on the buses, because it's going to wreck your digestion. It's going to make you feel very sluggish, very, very heavy. And nobody ever feels good after finishing junk food. You always feel good when you're eating it, but more often than not, you always feel crap after eating junk food. So make sure you're already packing healthy snacks for your travel. And if you're planning to stay for, let's say, 1 week at a place, then you need to carry some dry snacks to keep you, munching throughout the day, even while you're staying there. Nowadays with Blinkit, it's super easy. You can research your options by just changing the pin code. You can see what will be available where, and you can already pre-plan your snacks. Now, another tip that I have for you is grocery shop for local and seasonal foods. This is especially true if you're going for competitions that are in a different country, because many times the food is going to be very different. So make sure that you research what is locally and seasonally available there. If you're working with a nutritionist, then most likely they will help you with the options. They will give you, ideas on what to eat, what to pack, etc. But in case you're researching yourself, you have to check what is the local food like. क्योंकि अगर आप unseasonal and unlocal food खाओगे, then there is a heavy chance that might be very, very contaminated with high amounts of pesticides, or it might be cold storage food, and that's not going to be fresh and good for you. If you are somebody who's going on vacation, let's say you are traveling for fun, but you still want to ensure to maintain your fitness. I think one easy tip you can do is make sure that you walk as much as possible if you're trying to if you're just going for fun and vacation, that can also be a great way to manage your weight. So have two meals, maybe a brunch and a dinner, and then you can keep snacking on healthy foods throughout the day. Another tip, please don't disrupt your sleep routine. This is a big one. I've just explained what is the importance of sleep. So as soon as you reach your new destination, you have to ensure कि आपका sleep routine same consistency से चलना चाहिए. Okay. If you're playing a competition, don't experiment with your diet. If you're going to, let's say, Chennai, please don't go around eating local street food. That's probably not going to be really good for you. Excuse me, just give me 1 second. Yeah, so experimentation of your diet is not something that should be saved for competition. You can definitely try new cuisine after your competition is over, but please don't try something very, very new. Otherwise, you might risk upsetting your gut. You might fall sick, and that's just going to ruin your performance. And the last and foremost tip that I have is don't forget to hydrate. A lot of us tend to put drinking water on the back burner because I know it's very inconvenient when you're traveling in trains and flights. You don't want to keep using a public washroom again and again, but you're actually going to be better off pre-hydrating rather than drinking water once your body is already dehydrated when you're playing matches. So always remember, if your body is feeling thirsty, it is already dehydrated because thirst is a delayed mechanism. So don't wait for your body to get thirsty. Make sure that you keep having small, small sips throughout the day and you carry one water bottle and you keep a track of how often are you refilling it. Okay, so these are some tips that are going to make sure that when you travel for competition or just for a vacation, you're not going to, feel too stressed about the food. And the first thing you can do is take charge of your diet yourself and don't rely on any organizers or, logistic help to do that. Make sure you pre-plan everything to the T so that when you go to the competition, your major focus should just be on your performance and not on how much sleep to get and what to eat and what to order. Okay. So, Arushi, I think that answers your question. Anything else you
Yeah.
would like to ask?
Yes, ma'am, got it, my answer. Thank you.
All right. So, yeah, I think with that, we come to the end. Now, I'll be happy to take any questions in case any of you all have any. So, yeah, we can just throw the floor open for a Q&A. Let me know. You can just switch on your mic as well in case you want to ask any questions. Ayush, I think.
Anyone has any question?
Yeah.
I think Manasvi wanted to ask some question because she was switching on a mic and video. Arav, do you have any question?
I
Yeah,
think,
hello.
yeah, okay.
Abhishek this side.
Hi, Abhishek.
Uh, I have a question for per day meal. Uh, is it better to eat three meal per day or five and six? And what's your thoughts to intermediate fasting approaches for athletes?
For athletes, okay. So if you're an athlete, I would recommend eating more meals. So try to eat 5 to 6 times a day, meaning your breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and then your pre and mid training and post training. So that would make it around 6 meals average. And I would not recommend proper intermittent fasting if you're an athlete. Athlete, I define as somebody who's trying to improve physical performance and not just focus on like, I want to lose weight or I want to get fit. Okay. So if your goal is physical performance, you will be better off eating more. You can follow something called circadian fasting, meaning wherein you have 12 hours of fasting between dinner and breakfast. And that's generally recommended for everyone. That means you should be eating an early dinner and have like a gap of 12 hours between your dinner and breakfast. because that much is the bare minimum that is healthy for the body. But anything more than 12 to 14 hours, I would not generally recommend if you're an athlete.
Yeah, got it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Anybody else? I think everybody is very clear on everything we've discussed. So maybe I should start asking questions now. Okay, I think there are no more doubts, are you? So
Yeah,
we
yeah,
can wrap this
yeah,
up.
yeah, we can wrap.
Okay, all right. Thank you
Okay,
everyone
okay.
for joining. I know it's a big commitment to come up here on a Sunday and then,
I
sit through.
think Arav has put up a question in the chat.
Yeah, Arav, you want to ask a query? Mic is not working. Okay, you can just type it here in the chat box. I think Arav has a query about post-training nutrition. Arav, you can just mention the query here. Okay, so Arav is asking for post-training nutrition, is it a complete meal based on the formula that I've mentioned? For a 40 kg child, only 100 to 200 gram of diet is enough, or is it just a proportion we need to focus on? So that actually depends, because that's why we use these formulas for sport nutrition. Depending on the weight and the size of the child, the quantity of food is going to change. So if your child is 40 kgs, that would roughly be around 40 grams of carbs, which is honestly not a lot, because one banana is roughly 15 to 20 grams of carbs itself. So 40 grams of carbs would be like eating two bananas roughly, or like one banana and two toast. So that's not a lot of food. And protein would also be roughly around 20 grams. So 20 grams of protein would be maybe in 100 grams of low fat paneer. Again, not a large quantity of food. So this is more about experimentation, Ara, to figure out what quantity and volume of food is working. Meaning, if you're a non-vegetarian, 20 grams of protein is just in this much chicken, which is like very less chicken if you think about it. But if you're trying to give a child 20 grams of protein through dals, that's going to be like 2 cups of dals, which is a lot of volume of food. So it totally depends on the type of food sources you are choosing, which is going to dictate whether that's a small snack or a large meal. Okay. And if the child tends to feel very hungry after a training session, then you want to focus on more volume dense food. Now, what I mean by volume dense is foods that give you the same nutrients but in larger quantity. Like I said, if it's like 20 grams of protein that you're aiming for, you could give it to them with just a small amount of chicken, or you could give it to them with small amount of chicken paired with some volume dense food like vegetables, fruits on the side, that are going to fill your stomach up and keep you feeling full for a long time. So this is where other things like fiber, complex carbohydrates, they come into the picture. And that is why I mentioned, just don't focus on simple carbs. Also try to add complex carbs and play around with different permutation combinations. If you remember some of the examples that I had shown, let me just go back to the slide. Some examples that I had shown for post training, some of them were heavier meals, like rice with chicken and vegetables is a large meal. This would most likely classify as lunch or dinner. But something like cottage cheese on toast with vegetables can be a smaller snack. So, depending on when the training is getting over, what meal is going to come next, you as a parent can take the call whether you want to make it a small snack or you want to make it a larger meal. And if you are somebody who's finishing training, let's say around 5, 6 p.m., and dinner is going to happen at 8 p.m., but the child is very hungry, you can give them a small snack and then follow it up with a larger meal within 2 hours of giving that snack, and that should take care of it. Okay. So I hope that answers the question. Okay, thank you, Arav. I'm happy that all of you all find this information really, useful. And I think Ayush can probably plan more sessions like this in the future.
Yeah, surely, and thanks for finding time for to do this, and we're very grateful.
Oh,
Although
thank
we were
you.
not, yeah, although all the kids who registered didn't attend because of Sunday, or I
No, I
don't know,
understand.
maybe they
I
are
understand.
having a lazy
It's
morning.
a tough commitment. Nutrition and
Yeah,
Sunday are not two friendly words on the weekend,
yeah, correct,
I
correct.
understand. So
Yeah,
it's fine.
yeah, but
Maybe we'll have better turnout next time, okay?
yeah,
All
appreciate
right. Thank
it.
you, everyone. Thank you for being here. I'll hopefully see you all soon. Okay. All the best. And you can reach out to Ayush in case you want to know a little bit more about Sporting Ethos. Yeah. Before I round this up, a quick forward about our organization as well, since a lot of you joined late. I'm Rukshara. I'm the head of nutrition at Sporting Ethos Center of Excellence. We're a sports medicine center. We're located at the DDA Squash and Badminton Stadium on City Fort Road. We specialize in training high performance athletes when it comes to nutrition, rehabilitation from injuries. So we have a huge physiotherapy department. We also cater to strength and conditioning for budding as well as advanced athletes. We also take care of sports psychology as well as sport medicine. So anything related to your athletic worries or anything that you want to know or do with respect to specialization in a sport or do really well physical performance wise, Sporting Ethos is like a one-stop shop destination for that. And we've recently located to a bigger and better facility at the DDA complex. So in case you all have any queries about our work, you can reach out to Ayush. And I've also incorporated our contact details on the last slide. So if you want, you can take a picture of this. This has the number as well. In case you want to know a little bit more about our nutrition programs, our assessment process, and our onboarding process, or anything to do with athletic performance, you can just give us a call on this number. And this is our Instagram handle. So we're quite active there as well. We put up a lot of information related to sports science, nutrition, athletic rehab, etc. So please give us a follow there, and you can also drop us a DM if that's more convenient. Okay. So, take care with that. Let's end this session. Thank you so much for joining. I'll see you all soon. All the best. Bye bye.